What you know about rolling, rolling, rolling? What you gonna do? Rolling, rolling. What you gonna?
Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. It's Tuesday morning and have we got a cracking show for you today. Absolutely crazy show we've got in store for you. So make sure you stick around. Make sure you hit the like on this video. And if you're not already a subscriber to the Man United stream channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button because I'm telling you, it's going to get nasty. And by the way, I'm going to give you a warning right from the outset of today's show. I might use expletive language. I might be swearing here and there at today's show because I've got a lot to get off my chest. A lot of shit has been hitting the fan when it comes to Man United and transfers. And I'm telling you guys, I'm not happy. And what I'm hearing right now is even further bad news concerning Man United and transfers. INEOS, the Glazers, get the F out of my club, man. Get the F out of this club because you are absolutely screwing us over every time we think we're taking one step forward. You guys come in and destroy any hope that we have of us succeeding. Why? Why the F do you guys do this to us? Why? Why every time we think, shit, we've turned a corner, shit, we are finally looking good. We finally look like we've got an interim manager, a manager who's getting the best out of this team. Let's go and cook. Let's go and bring in some new faces. Let's give him what he needs, strengthen the squad and go and get Champions League football. Guarantee it. Let's not take any risk whatsoever. Forget about, maybe here and there we might get lucky. No, get it, bring it into your own effing hands. Bring this flipping game and make sure we guarantee ourselves Champions League football. That's what it is, right? We don't need to rely on others screwing up around us. Why? We're in that bloody position right now. We've got a decent squad who are playing well right now. Just go and add one or two new faces, give the manager what he needs, and then let's cook. But oh no, the transfer window has closed and we've brought nobody in. Nobody! I mean, at one point, I thought maybe they're just kind of playing everybody, right? You know how INEOS did in the summer where they said, PSR, we haven't got any money. We can't go and spend, actually. We can't go and spend, but they still went and signed a couple of players in Mbeumo and Kuna and Sandy Lemons. And we thought, right, okay, maybe they're doing that right now. I mean, maybe the January transfer window is actually going to be busy for us, but they're just playing it down because they don't want fans to get excited. They don't want teams to start increasing their prices when it comes to their players. And we're thinking, maybe Baleba will come in January. Maybe, it's obvious we need players. It's obvious we need a midfielder. But no, INEOS have actually completely fooled everybody. When they said no signings, they meant no signings. And now this morning, we've got further breaking news concerning David Ornstein. Now, he obviously has put an article out for The Athletic, and in that, he's confirmed that he's been told by sources from United that United will not be, forget spending big in the January transfer, they will not be even effing spending. I swear, I want to swear so badly right now because I need to get this off my fucking chest, man. This is taking the piss. It's taking the piss. I swear it's taking the piss. We're hearing from David Ornstein that come the summer, United are not going to spend either. United are not planning to spend big. That's what the words are. United are not spending big in the summer either. They've got no plans to bring in the big players that we've all been hyping up, all talking about Wharton and Anderson and Baleba, and yes, we're going to go and do this, we're going to go and do that. It's obvious United are going to... But no, that's out of the picture, guys. It's out of the picture. What we're hearing is United's plans are that, they might go and get some young faces in the summer. They might go and get one or two players, but they're not looking to spend big. It even puts into doubt the whole Baleba deal right now. It even puts that into doubt. And I swear, I've been looking at the Baleba deal thinking it's guaranteed. Of course we're going to get Baleba. I mean, it's slam dunk, isn't it? Isn't it done? I mean, we've agreed personal terms with him last bloody summer. So why would we now change our minds? But I'm hearing from sources that I know that even the Baleba deal is at risk because there's noises coming out of Man United that they don't believe that he's the right man for the job. They feel like his season so far in Brighton hasn't been good, and they have got their doubts over Baleba even coming in as a new Man United midfielder. Let me know in the comments what you think about that news. I mean, look, this is coming out from sources, so you have not second checked them yet. Obviously, you're relying on what they're telling you. Just like David Ornstein is relying upon his sources, being told that there's going to be no major signings in the summer transfer window. Again, you've got to take this with a pinch of salt. We don't know whether we're just being lied to here by INEOS, but let's look at their track record. Let's look at INEOS and what they've done for other clubs, not just Man United, over the many years that they've owned clubs, Nice in particular, out in League One. They've done jack shit. They've absolutely done jack shit. So why are we expecting them to suddenly change and become class act managers, right? A-class managers, best in class. They've just joined forces with the Glazers. That's all I can say. All I'm looking at right now is that, look, we're stuck with these guys. We're stuck with these owners who clearly don't want to spend any money. I honestly was giving them the benefit of doubt. I was saying, nah, look, behind the scenes, by the way, I wasn't doing this obviously on show because I was thinking, I don't want to rinse them. I don't want to kind of completely go after them without knowing what their intentions are or what let's see. The proof is in the pudding, isn't it? The proof is in the bloody pudding. So if they're going to go out in the January transfer window and make some signings and they kick on, they give Carrick what he needs and they give the club what we need, and we kick on and we qualify for Champions League, then, okay, they've done a good job. They've done a good job. And look, whatever your take is on the Ruben Amorim situation, whether they got rid of him early or they got rid of him too late, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that, look, they made that decision, they made that call, Carrick came in, and now we are in a position where we can qualify for Champions League. In a position. We haven't secured that position though. And this is a huge risk. It's a huge risk because we don't know what lies in the future. We don't know what happens in the next month or two. Yes, we have got only Premier League games to look forward to. And yes, we might be able to put all our eggs in that basket and make sure we qualify. And then we might have players who are raring to go, fit and ready every weekend to play solid football. But what happens if we get injuries? What happens if we get injuries? Then what? This is why this is a huge risk. I have no idea how INEOS are going to claw themselves out of this hole if something does not go to plan. I swear, if the summer hits and we've not qualified for Champions League football, it's going to be a long bloody summer. And it's going to be a long one for INEOS and the Glazers because they're taking a huge risk. It's a gamble. It's a gamble by saying, right, we don't need to go out there and sign anybody. But not only that, David Ornstein's like I said, he's reporting and his sources are on point. And he's saying that, look, what he's heard from United is that they're not even going to go and sign anyone in the summer. Forget the January transfer window. We're looking at the summers and we're looking ahead and saying, actually, we've got no one in place. And if anyone knows anything about football transfers and deals, they don't happen overnight. Yes, there might be one or two which might occur overnight. No one sees them coming. But the rest are now long-term planning decisions. They don't happen overnight. You get in contact with players' agents and representatives and the clubs, and you have a long-winded process. It's not a short 1-2 day process, right? It is a long-term thing. You sit down, you negotiate and you negotiate and you negotiate and you get everything in place, personal terms and everything like that. It takes months. It takes months. Even when a player is willing to come, by the way. We saw it with Mbeumo. Mbeumo, before the season, or just as the season ended, he said, look, I want to move to Man United. That's where he wanted to go. We took months and months and months to negotiate and get the deal done. This is the problem. So Yeah, right now we should be working on them deals. I've been telling you, oh, look, we should be working on Anderson right now. We should be working on Wharton right now if we want them deals done. Because there'll be other clubs who are doing that. There'll be other clubs who are already in touch with Wharton's representatives and Anderson's representatives. It's a no-brainer. So why are we now getting news that INEOS are actually saying, INEOS Glazers, which, look, when I say INEOS, I mean the Glazers as well. It's all one shit show, right? It's all bloody one ownership. Forget any distinction between the two. There is no distinction between the two. One's got an English accent and the other ones have got American accents. That's all. But they're all in the same bloody pot. They're all they represent the same billionaire class who are out to do over Man United. They don't give a shit about United as a club. We need to wake up and smell the bloody coffee. Jim Ratcliffe is an imposter. He's a fucking imposter, man. He's come in and all he wants to do is milk it. He wants to milk it and it's just a vanity project. If anyone trusts the Glazers and INEOS, they need their head checking. They need their head checking. These guys have got no interest in United succeeding on the pitch. All they care about is the figures on the balance sheet. That's what they care about. And right now, they're hurting. And they're hurting because United have dropped down that Deloitte rich list of football clubs, and they've gone down to 8. And I'm telling you, I just feel like they're destroying United from within inside. They're just completely destroying us. Any chance we get of succeeding, and they're like, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to take that chance. Right now, we've got that chance of qualifying for Champions League, and I still believe we will. I still wholeheartedly believe that Carrick will steer this ship to Champions League football. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. Will we face uphill struggles? Yes, we will. But I still feel like we've got a good enough manager and players that can qualify for Champions League, especially given what position we lie in right now. I mean, if we were like, look, 7th or 8th, I wouldn't be saying Champions League football. But right now, because we're in the Champions League spots, I think we can hopefully stick there. And the players get some kind of confidence saying, yes, we are good enough to play football. We've beat Man City, we beat Arsenal, supposedly the champions. We beat Fulham. We've got Tottenham next at home. Again, it's another big game, another big test. And yes, every single game is a cup final for United right now. Every single game is going to be huge. And if you have one or two players, key players missing out of injury or anything else, suspension, whatever, it will drastically reduce the chances of United succeeding. We know we haven't got a good enough bench to go to. We see it game in, game out, right? Every time we make substitutions, our team looks shit. We look like we're completely a different team. When we take off Casemiro, when we take off anybody out of that first 11, we look shaky. We look shaky. You've got to concede that we look shaky. But then it does not make any sense to me how INEOS can sit there, watch the same flipping game, watch Carrick do the same thing, see the bench, and still say, actually, we don't need to go on and strengthen this team. We're happy with what we've got. Absolute bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Anyone who sits here, any fan who sits here and says, I agree with INEOS and, we can carry on with this team is completely wrong. We cannot carry on, and especially not in the summer. Now, in the summer, if they're planning to just simply go out there and make some superficial signing here and there and not bring in the players that we really need, how long is that going to last, man? How long are we going to have these bit part players playing in this game and in this club? How long until we hit another shitstorm, until we hit another brick wall and we say, oh, wonder what we've got wrong. Wonder why we're not actually doing well in the Champions League or in the Premier League. Why are we not succeeding? Well, I'll tell you why we're not succeeding, because we're not signing the best players out there available who might even join us. You've got to consistently get your recruitment spot on. You've got to always sign the best players available. The moment you go down the pecking order and start looking at bit part players that are decent, kind of will do the job, but will also not do the job, that's where you are going wrong. That's why we haven't succeeded, because we haven't signed anybody amazing in in years, we haven't gone out there and bought game changers. The only player that I could right now comfortably say that, look, we've bought a game changer is Mbeumo. That's how I see it. You might think differently. You might think Kuna is or Senny Lemons. But for me, Mbeumo is a game changer. He's the only one we've gone and signed. But guess what? It was because he wanted to join Man United. It wasn't the other way around. And it wasn't because INEOS sat down and said, yes, we want to go and sign Mbeumo. It was because of Ruben Amorim, the ex-Man United manager, who really was a big fan of Mbeumo and said, I want Mbeumo. And that's how the deal got done. It wasn't the other way around. So, look, if we were going to go on managers and what they've wanted in past, we've heard Solskjaer wanted Haaland, wanted Bellingham, these names. But you know what? What did the ownership fucking do? What did the owner? They said, no, we don't want to sign Haaland. We don't want to sign Bellingham. Bit part players, we don't know them. Forget about it. Solskjaer, shut up. Get out the job. Okay, Ragnick. Oh, Ragnick wanted Alvarez. He wanted a long list of top players. But guess what they did to Ragnick? F off, get out of our club. We're not going to go and spend money in buying more players. Just you get out. It's easier to get rid of the manager. Sack the manager, whichever manager comes in and says, I want this player or that player, and the board look at it and think, do you know what? It's going to cost us 100 mil to bring in these players, or 100 mil, 100 plus. Actually, it's probably cheaper just to get rid of the manager. So let's just sack the manager instead. It'll cost us 10 million to get rid of the manager or fulfill his requirements, which is 150, 200 mil. Let's take the easy option out. Let's just sack the manager. And that is what we're seeing. What we're seeing is the manager getting the sack because he's putting a list together of players that he feels will be game changers. The ones that will go and carry United into Champions League and into winning trophies. That's the difference. No manager will sit there and say, actually, I don't need anybody. I want a shit bunch of players. Thank you very much. I think Roy Keane said it perfectly. He said, look, you're only as good as a manager as the players that you've got out there representing you. If you've got shit players, you're a shit manager. If you've got good players, you're a good manager. That's exactly how it works, guys. You cannot tell me that you can give any top manager, even Pep, even Sir Alex Ferguson, you can't give them shit players and say, right, go out there and perform. Even under Sir Alex Ferguson, we would make sure we made big signings, important signings. We'd go out there and sign the best players available to strengthen the squad. We would never go out there and say, actually, do you know what? This season, this summer, we'll just go and sign a nobody. Someone who can just play a bit part role, someone who's not going to make much difference. What INEOS are doing are exactly that. What Glazers are doing are exactly that. What they see it as, do you know what? I know I've worked out their transfer strategy, by the way, and I'll let you in on a secret here. So this is how I feel like they are proceeding with all transfers, and this is their long-term planning for Man United. Now, you can clip it, but mark my words, this is what they're doing. They are doing long-term transfers where they feel like they don't need to spend a lot. They can bring in young players that might not be the best, but are not bad either. They'll just bring them in, and in the hope that one or two of them might become superstars. They want to do a Cristiano Ronaldo job on everybody at United coming in now. They want to bring in players that suddenly turn into superstars, right? But there's a huge gamble with that. Huge gamble, and it's not always the case. You're not going to stumble across Cristiano Ronaldo every bloody day, right? He was a one-off, 1 in a million, where we bought him in and he turned into an absolute sensation. But yes, we can maybe even say the likes of Lenny Euro, Haven, all these young players that we've got in here, Ahmad, obviously, Senny Lemons, they can turn into sensational top players. But we also need to mix that up with some actual top players who are playing at the top of their game, not future. How long are we going to wait to see success at United? How long? And what kind of gamble are we taking? Could we be here in 5 years' time talking still about United trying to qualify for Champions League, United still not winning another league, United still struggling? How long does a transition actually effing last? That's what my question is. It's absolute bollocks. And now what we've got from David Ornstein this morning is, I think, the final nail in the coffin. If we do not go out there in the summer and sign one of the big players, and if I'm talking about in the midfield, right? Forget about everywhere else. We know Casemiro is going to leave. We know we need a like-for-like replacement. We need a world-class centre mid player, at minimum one. We already need one right now. So this is once the summer hits and Casemiro leaves. So we need at least two, in my opinion. We need two world-class midfielders. Where are we going to get them from? Where are we going to get them from if INEOS are decided not to put any money down? What are they expecting? Every team, every club to literally let go of their players for next to nothing? Or are they expecting to go out there and sign the Ndidis of this world or the Ruben Neveses? Because I think that's what they're going to do. I think what they're going to do is they're going to go and look for the cheapest options available and bring them in and say, yeah, this is what we're capable of. We can't be shopping for expensive players because we haven't got the money. That's the problem with what we have is with INEOS. INEOS, the other Glazers would dress it up. They would dress up the whole, we haven't got any money. Right? They would have to make out that they have got money and they would have to go out there and make one or two marquee signings in the summer transfer window. That's how they kept things in check. That's how they basically instructed Woodward to do. They said, right, do you know what? We know what the fans are like. We know we're going to get it. So what we need to do is to keep them in check. We just need to make one or two star signings in the summer transfer window that keeps the fans happy and they can look forward to another season with watching these players. And that's exactly what the Glazers did, even though when they weren't prepared to put any money into the club and buy anybody. So that was just a makeshift move. It was just a temporary move to bring in players who are big name players, but they were way past it. So they've come to United. What INEOS are doing is not even dressing it up. They just turn around and say blatantly, we're skint. We haven't got any money. Oh, United haven't got any money. United haven't got any money. Why haven't we got any money? You're the bloody owners. You're the ones who've come in and you're the ones who have said that we're going to sort things out. Have we all forgotten what Jim Ratcliffe said when he first arrived? I want to take Man United back to its glory days. I want to make United the biggest club in the world again. I want to make United win trophies again. Where's that Jim gone? Where's that Jim Ratcliffe gone? Has he been replaced by another lookalike? Because he made promises. He made promises to the fans. Just before he took over, he made promises about how he's going to come in and how he's going to sort this shit show out. How he feels like United have been mismanaged, misran, and how he's going to come in and sort everything out. But now, 2.5 years into his ownership, number one, he's still part owner. He's not bought out the Glazers. Big alarm bell. Number two, he's now coming out with all sorts of excuses about why United are not able to go and spend big. First of all, he's tried to use that whole PSR bullshit. No one called him out on this, by the way. No mainstream media, journalists or anybody called out INEOS for lying. Why did they lie to everybody? Blatantly lie about PSR. They lied about PSR just so they don't have to go out there and sign players. Just so if they don't sign any players, the fans can't complain. And the worst thing about it is the amount of bloody fans that lapped this up, this excuse by INEOS. And not only did they lap it up, they went out there and regurgitated this shit about, oh, we can't go and sign players because we've got PSR. And INEOS are doing their best they can. And INEOS are brilliant. INEOS are good. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is a Man United fan. Did you know that? He's a Man United fan. He's a United fan. He was born and bred, just round the fucking corner, around from Old Trafford. He's a Man United lad. Bullshit, man. This guy's not a Man United lad. If he was a Man United lad, the first thing he would have done is kick out the fucking Glazers. He would have bought them out. The moment you get a chance to get rid of these parasites, you would have bought them out and got rid of them. But what's he done? He didn't do any of that. He's not bought them out. He wants them to stay at United. How can you be a Man United man when you want the Glazers to stay. I don't. No way. That's the first thing and the last thing you hear from anybody about being a Man United fan and wanting the Glazers to stay. Does not make any sense. Immediately tells you something's wrong. Immediately tells you Jim is not what he's saying he is, right? He is an imposter. He's come in with all these false promises about, oh, look, you know, I'm going to make United great again. I'm going to make them win trophies again. I'm going to do what the other owners... Well, he didn't actually directly ever say that the Glazers were bad. He just simply said the Glazers are lovely people, lovely family, and they've got the right intentions. It's just that Man United has been mismanaged because they're giving free lunches away, you know, to the players, and they've got too many staff on the receptionists and stuff who have been here too long. You know, they shouldn't be here because they were part of the United's glory days, so we don't want them here, so kick them out. We've got a charity running that gives 40 grand a year or something to ex-United legends. That's not good enough. We need to cut that cost. 40 grand, how dare they give 40 grand away to ex-Man United legends? Screw that. Screw that. I like paying £40 million in interest, though, for the Glazers' debt. Interest payments for the Glazers' debt. I like that. I love the Glazers. Leave them in there. Leave £40 million in interest-only payments. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. 40 grand. Oh, that's a lot of money being spent on the legends. Let's kick them out. This is it. He says one thing, does the complete opposite. So now what we're hearing is, oh yeah, United are not actually looking to spend big in the summer. We've had a shit show of a window in the January transfer window. Anybody else, any other club in our position would have said, right, okay, do you know what? Things are going better than expected. We did not expect to be in the Champions League spots right now. Well, I think they didn't. I mean, most fans would have expected this, but I don't believe INEOS expected us to be in this position. I believe INEOS thought we'd be sitting in top 10, but that would be their best thing. And if they're sitting in top 10, they would have been happy with that. But anyway, they're now stuck in a rock and a hard place because they know fans will be demanding that we go again and sign players. January transfer window, biggest effing smokescreen that we've ever seen in sacking Ruben Amorim. They could have sacked him before, they never did. They didn't care, but the moment he's sat down and said, I want signings, they thought, right, okay, time to get rid. That's the moment that they've got rid of Ruben Amorim, when he started questioning the board. Not because he was losing games, not because they were not happy with the performances and his formation and everything else. It was because he called them out and said, actually, you said you were going to bring in the players that I needed to go and play this system. You're not bringing them in. Why are you not bringing them in? Sack him. Get rid of him. That's what they did. And now they've brought in a manager who's going to nod along. Whatever they say, yes, yeah, Jim, yeah, Jason, yeah, Omar, whatever you say, we'll go. And this is no dig against Carrick. He's Carrick. Michael Carrick is a chilled out dude. He's going to do what he is there for, and he's not there for politics behind the scenes. He's there to sort the players out and do the talking on the pitch. That's what he cares about. He's a coach at heart. He doesn't want to do the backroom staff rubbish that is deal with Wilcox and Brada and all these mind games with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He doesn't want to be involved in that kind of shit. So look, I'm not going to hold anything against him. He's come in, he's doing a decent job. Will he get the full-time job? I'm not quite sure. Depends. It just depends on Jim Ratcliffe and essentially how he feels. Will he go along with our plan, our long-term plan of not signing any major players and not investing huge amounts of money in this club? And if Carrick says, yes, I'll go along with that, well, then that's fine. I'm telling you, I've said it from the word go. The moment Ruben Amorim got sacked, and I told you, United will not be going and bringing in a top manager like Tuchel or anybody else like Enrique, because they know the demands of those managers will not fit in line with what INEOS and the Glazers are planning long-term for Man United, which is jack shit. They're not doing anything. They're not here. They're not here to progress United's interest. They're not here to progress the club's interest. They're there to progress their own fucking interests, which is money. They want money and lots of it. They want money and they're greedy. They want to take all the money they can and leave United high and dry. Anyway, let me go to the chats. I told you it's going to be a crazy one this morning. It's just crazy news, man. It's crazy news. I mean, talk about flipping kicking us when we're down, right? You know, we're already fucking down about the January transfer window, and then we get news from David Ornstein that, oh, guys, actually, I've got something else for you. You know what? Not only are we not signing anyone in January transfer window, guess what? We've got some even better news. We're not even going to go and sign anybody in the summer transfer window. Absolute joke, man. Absolute joke. Morning, Nish. Morning, Sanders. Morning, Steph. Hope you're doing well. Properly run clubs did business in January because there's World Cup this summer, which could hamper things. That suits owners perfectly. Spot on. Yes, exactly. I said it in yesterday's show, and it's common sense. It's common sense. Anybody involved in football will tell you. David Ornstein will tell you, all the rest of them will tell you that this summer is not ideal to go out there and rebuild your squad. This is probably the worst summer you could pick to rebuild a squad because players will not be interested. The best players in the world will not be interested in signing and dealing with things and signing new contracts or agreeing terms or whatever. They're going to be busy. They're going to be busy involved in the World Cup. Yes, I'm hearing some of you might be saying, yeah, but there's Travis, Balaba's not going to the World Cup and a few others are not. Yes, I know they're not. But still, the agents and things, it's a busy period to get people together. So look, I think it's a perfectly good excuse for INEOS to use and say, do you know what? We can't go and sign anybody. Sanders says, honestly speaking, I like the way Manchester United did not sign any player in this January window. Beautiful. There is no good midfielder available in the market. Believe me. Sanders, I can't agree with you, man. I don't agree with you. The thing is, we needed backup. What if Casemiro gets injured? What if Manu gets injured? Are you comfortable with Ugarte playing in that position? For me, it's a no-no. For me, this is... We're playing with fire. There might be a situation where we don't get no injuries and we're absolutely fine. And I'll be over the moon. But I like that belt and braces approach. I like backup. I like knowing that there's a safety net there. So if things go wrong, at least we've got backup. At least we've got options off the bench. Why? Why not do that? Why not secure it? You know you've got this in your hands. Why let it go? That's my issue. So I know what some fans are saying, which is like, oh yeah, we don't really need to go and sign players because no one's available, no one good. But what I'm saying to you is, I'm not asking for someone good. I'm not saying go out and sign Baleba or Wharton. I'm saying go and sign another utility type player who can come in and do a job for us if there's an injury, if there's something that goes wrong that we can all not predict, like we didn't predict the Dogu injury. But luckily, we had Kuna to step in, and he's come in and he's scored a goal and done well on the weekend. Now, imagine if we'd not signed Kuna. Who would we have played in that position? And would he, whoever that player might be, I'm guessing Mason Mount, but if and we're lucky that he's not injured, but if he was injured, then what? This is my problem. If we didn't have Kuna and we didn't have Mason Mount, who else could fit into that position and score and be pivotal in these big games? That's why it's really, really, the intentions were always not good. Yeah, Luman, the intentions have never been good. The problem is, though, there's so many people who get taken in by this shit. They get taken in by these press conferences that come out with, and the media are making this happen as well. They're part of the problem because they're the ones who hype shit up like this. Like, oh yeah, so Jim Ratcliffe's saying that he's going to do this and he's going to bring back the glory days and he's going to go out there and invest. But then they ignore what's actually going on. So they ignore the fact that we haven't spent any money in even sorting things out. We've not cleared any of the debt. Why is the question not being asked on Jim Ratcliffe not buying the rest of United? Why? Why is there no mainstream media, sports channel out there, or even fan channels, the big ones, right? We're tiny, right? But why isn't there a big fan channel saying, why hasn't Jim Ratcliffe bought the remaining shares off the Glazers? Why are the Glazers still owners of Man United? That's a simple, straightforward question, and it should be answered. Why? Why hasn't Jim Ratcliffe bought out the Glazers? I'm hearing only players incoming in the summer is Belabor. We're completely out for Wharton and Anderson. We're basically Brighton, not now, zero ambition, vibes, FC. Yeah. Look, I'm telling you, I'm hearing that even that is up for debate. The whole Belabor deal is up for debate. I've heard from a really good source, by the way, that there's second thoughts being had on Belabor, and the reason being is because they feel like, I think Jim will be happy because Jim said it already, is because they feel like his form this season hasn't been good enough for Brighton, and they don't feel that it's the player downing tools. They just feel like he's actually not doing well. He's not good. And last season was just one of those one-off seasons. But this year, he's been found out and he's struggling. And defensively, he's really weak. And they feel like someone like Casemiro, to replace Casemiro, you need someone who's better defensively. And Belabor isn't that man. That's what they're saying. They're saying Belabor isn't defensively good. These are the noises, by the way, coming from United. Again, it's from a particular source. I don't know whether it's going to be true or not, but this is what I'm hearing. These wankers get gassed up for Anderson, absolute pricks. If we had Belabor and Anderson, we'd destroy this league piece of piss. Yeah, we know what we're missing. We know what we're missing. We have to extend Casemiro's contract for a year. Wharton and Anderson aren't coming. Well, I think that's already done, mate. I already think that's already done and dusted. I think he's not coming back. He's not going to extend his contract. He's going to stay away. I think he's going to try and leave on a high. I think he realizes that his time's come. The new regime, whoever might come in, the new manager, is probably not going to pick him either. So he's probably thinking, I might as well go right now. You're so right about Mbeumo. We can only get him because he refused to go anywhere else. Yeah, that's it, man. If he was open to offers from elsewhere, we wouldn't have got the guy. We wouldn't have got him. There's other clubs that would have gone. I'm telling you, Liverpool were in for the guy. Liverpool wanted him desperately. Liverpool wanted him, but they didn't make that move because they found out that he wants United and only United. But behind closed doors, they had reached out. They had reached out and they'd made the inquiries whether he would join Liverpool. And if that was the case, look, you know what would have happened. And this is coming from a reliable Liverpool source, by the way. And he said, look, right in the summer, he said, look, Liverpool want the guy, but they know that he's not willing to come. Or that's what they've heard. Screw Barca, let's get Rashford back under Carrick. Let's give him a hero's welcome home. We need to get players in. There's some debate about whether he's going to come back or not, actually. So you might not be far off the mark. The noises coming out of Barca and even United are that Carrick is a huge fan of Rashford and feels like he'd be more than happy to take Rashford back and have him work underneath Carrick. That's what he wants. However, the ball's essentially in Rashford's court here. He is the one who decides really whether he wants to come back or not. Of course, Barca have a big say in it as well. If they don't want to take the player on, I mean, he's a Man United player, isn't he? And the loan move comes to an end and United get him back in the summer. But I just feel like, yeah, look, INEOS might be happy with it. INEOS might be like, right, okay, yeah, we'll just paint this as a new bloody signing and that's it. Yeah, there we go. We got Rashford. There we go. Happy summer transfer window, right? We're basically buying and selling club now. City, Liverpool, Madrid, and PSG are laughing at us. Yeah, we've turned into a laughing stock. We have turned into a laughing stock, man. We're a complete joke of a club if we can't go out there and make major signings, right? Look at the difference it's made by going out there and signing Mbeumo and Kuna. Now, I'm going to say it. They're not world-class players. They're not the most sought-after players in the world, right? They're not like, Mbappe or something, right? But I'd say they're not S tier, but they are somewhere in that like good tier, right? Good, solid football players, top football players in terms of Mbeumo. I think he is up there as one of the best in the Premier League right now. And look at the difference it's made to us. Look at the difference. That's what these players do. That's what these type of signings do for you. That's why you need to sign top players. Yet, INEOS are like, yeah, we don't feel we need him. We don't want success at United. It's too quick, too fast for us. That's why I don't want Carrick to be permanent, because he's a yes man and won't get the players we need. Yeah, I think that is a very good point, Jim. It is a very good point. We're gonna. I think there's a high chance that he will be kept on. If he succeeds in getting us Champions League football, I think he'll be kept on. And it won't be because he's got Champions League football. It would be because he's a yes man. He's a yes man to the Glazers and to INEOS. I don't know whether you guys are aware of this, but in Michael Carrick's book, I don't know whether you've read it or not. In his book, there's a part in there where he talks about the Glazers and he actually defends them. Yeah, shock, horror. Michael Carrick defends the Glazers, saying that they're actually really good owners, they've invested in the club, they want the best for the club, blah, blah, blah. And so that's where he stands on the whole matter. So if you're thinking, oh, Carrick is one of us and he wants to Glazers out, think again, guys. Carrick is a yes man. He's happy with him. And I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if that was brought to the attention of the Glazers and INEOS when they were doing the interviews and they were told, hint, 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 this guy actually wrote in his book that he actually thinks the Glazers have done a fantastic job with Man United. What? Does he? Oh, give him the fucking job. Bring him in. Sign the bloody contract. You've got the job. Interim manager. There you go. Thank you very much. You love the Glazers, so we love you. That's what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's why you got the job. I think it was just a luck of the draw where they've thought, right, okay, yeah, he's our man. He's our man. This guy is on our team. He's batting for us. So let's give him the job. Conman Ratcliffe has taken a look at us and said, yeah, I can take money out of them and I'm going to milk them dry. He knows he's going to sell to Qatar after squeezing out every penny he can. Yeah, but the problem is, Anish, I always feel like I think any potential owner or buyer of United now is probably thinking, do I want to buy this shit show? Do I want to buy a club laden with debt? Why would I want to be part of this shit show? No one wants to buy that. It's like going and buying a car that has a seized engine and has got damage all around the bloody paintwork and everything. Why would you buy that when you know immediately you're going to have to put serious amounts of money in to fixing it? But don't get me wrong, United is like a Ferrari of the football world, right? It is the prestige. It's just the heritage behind it all that you want to buy. So yeah, there might be some people out there looking at United and thinking, I want to buy United and I want to fix it and I want to restore it and with love and care and attention. But there's very few people out there who would do that. Very few. The market is so niche. Talking about niche, yeah? It is so small that there's only one or two people probably out there in the world who will be willing to do that. And that's why there's some question marks over, when the Glazers put United up for sale, why didn't we not get any more bids in? Why was there only two interested parties? One fell through and only Jim Glazer, the last man standing. Why was that the case? The reason why that was because everyone knew, every business person, every business investment company knew that United had huge amounts of debt and huge amounts of money that needed to go into it to even bring it back to level par with the rest of the clubs in the Premier League, never mind the world, right? So anyone who was looking at United knew that they had to invest not just in buying the club, but restoring it. And that would have taken huge amounts of money, and especially in a market which is constantly evolving, constantly changing, so you don't even know whether that money that you're going to put in is going to be even enough. That's the problem. I'd rather get relegated than have Rashford back, have fans forgot what he's been like for the last 3 years. Yeah, look, I'm the same, Jim. I'm gonna side with you there. I think with me, I think there's too much water under the bridge in terms of Rashford. I just think there's too much that's gone on in the past to say, please come back. And I'm not saying, look, United were not to blame in that. I think, yeah, the ownership, the people at United at the time have run amok. And the players like Rashford, who may have had the right intentions at the start, went off course, went off the road, went off the radar, and they completely stopped caring about the club. Now do we want someone like that back again? Even though we know he can do a good job, I feel like, look, we bring him back, I think he's going to fall back into his normal routine, and we're going to regret that, and then we're going to look like a complete shit show again, and we're just going to be a laughing stock. So for me, I would be careful just jumping straight back into bed with somebody who's kind of shafted us well and truly. Not a very careful owner, car crash of a club under Glazer's stewardship, 100%. Look, we have got serious issues. Yes, I'm loving football at United right now. In the last 3 games, I feel like I've been reinvigorated as a Man United fan. I feel like I'm absolutely buzzing watching Carrick get the best out of these players. And that's why even with Rashford, the only reason why I hesitated with Nish saying what he said is because, yes, my own personal thought would be I'm not a big fan of Rashford, but I also can see Carrick getting something else out of Rashford that we might not have seen. So that is the only thing I was thinking, maybe we give him Rashford and maybe he gets something out of him that we have not been able to get out from other managers. You know, you got to remember, Carrick has been his teammate, has played with him, understands Marcus Rashford probably better than a lot of managers out there. And if Barcelona are really going to pull our pants down and give us jack shit for Marcus Rashford, I just think, fuck it, let's bring him back. Why sell him on the cheap? Why sell him on the cheap? Freaking bring him back and put him in there. Yeah, he's a bit of a shit show when it comes to his discipline and nights out and shit like that. But if someone can keep him in check, if someone can say, right, mate, none of that shit, none of the nights out and shit like that, you need to be an absolute professional and you're staying at the club. I think someone needs to give him a slap around the ear. That's what they need to do. But yeah, that's what I would do if he comes back. I mean, again, I don't know what you guys think of that. I'm sure there'll be some of you who'll be like, yeah, bring him back. Some of you will be like, no, absolutely not. If Rashford loved the club, he would have knuckled down and fought for us. He didn't get rid of him for us. Yeah, look, that is it. Disagree. Rashford said himself there wasn't any stability after Sir Alex Ferguson left. I want him back because he's a world-class player. Look, without a doubt, he's a top player. When he gets down to it, when he actually works hard, but the problem is, will he fall back into his bad habits at United? That's a big danger. It's like taking someone out of the shit show, right? Taking someone out and we've separated him. He's gone off and he's gone off to Barca. He's got a new environment around him, different players, different setup, different arrangement, and he's actually doing really well. But my fear is if we bring him back to the same old shit and he kind of looks around and thinks nothing's fucking changed. The Glazers are still here. The INEOS are still here. Everything behind the scenes is the same. Then I think, yeah, he could quite easily relapse back into his old self. Rashford will cook under Carrick. He loves Carrick. He has matured now. Well, that is the balancing act. Which one will it be? Will it be Rashford comes back and cooks with Carrick? I think I can see that happening, but I also can see him. What if Carrick doesn't get the long-term job, right? I think the only time he comes back is, I believe, that we come into the summer. United haven't agreed anything with Barcelona right now. As we stand, Barcelona have moved to make the deal permanent, but they're asking for a huge discount on Rashford, the cheeky shits, yeah? They're asking for absolutely nothing to take Rashford on. Man United are holding firm right now. They're not agreeing to the knockoff price that Barcelona want Rashford for. And I believe that's because they're waiting until the summer. And if Carrick gets the full-time job, Rashford comes back, without a doubt. Rashford comes back. If Carrick does not get the full-time job, Rashford's not coming back either. That's how it... And I think probably Rashford's camp is already saying that already themselves. They're saying, right, We don't know where the club's going. We don't know whether Carrick is going to be the long-term manager at United. And if he isn't, well, there's no point of us coming back. But if he is, then we might consider it. When we might consider it. But I'm gonna end the show with this. There's not many players who want to leave Barcelona. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's the bloody sun, whether it's just the environment, whether it's Camp Nou, whether it's just Barcelona fans, whatever it is, they don't like leaving. Once they join Barcelona, they want to stay there. And I think the same goes for Real Madrid. I think it's because they know, right, this is the pinnacle of football, the heritage, the players, the past, everything, the chance of winning trophies every year, it's really high. So why would they want to leave and go elsewhere? And again, their stock is through the roof. When you're playing for Barcelona, you're world renowned. You know, everyone is talking about you. It's what you want as a player. You want to be known as a player that, oh, look, I played for one of the biggest clubs in the world, and that's why. Rashford off the bench would be a good option, but it's an expensive option. He will want to start and might revert back to bare minimum FC is my concern. Yeah, that's exactly how... I think that is my take on it. Yes, he would be a good option, but I also have my doubts. So I think Stephanie sums it up perfectly for me as well. As a fan, I would have my concerns, but I also can see where Nish is coming from in saying that the guy's a shit-hot player when he's on form, when he's firing, when he's got the bit between his teeth. This kid is sensational. But we all knew that. We all knew that at United when he was first playing for United. We knew what he's capable of. But the problem is, he was a sulker. I used to hate his body language on the pitch. It used to piss me off every time, the first 5 to 10 minutes in the fucking game. And he would have a face on. And you're thinking, it's literally been 5 minutes into the game. Why are you sulking? Why are you upset for? It's 0-0 and you're already playing like you don't want to win. So for me, it used to really irritate me. It really upset me. I used to be like, really just found it infuriating that he would do that. I love you, Jim, but he would be world class. He makes England all the time with Rooney and Kane 11. Yeah, look, this is it. This is an argument that we can have, but I like it though. I like it. I like the fact that you're fighting his corner and you're giving us something to think about. But for me, it's a huge risk. It's a huge risk, and would Carrick want that on his plate? Does Carrick want someone to come back into this dressing room that sounds like and looks like he's sorted out? He looks like he's got a good set of players in there. No prima donnas, no one sulking, no one trying to leak shit out to the press. Everyone's happy. He's got everyone in a good place. And I think he doesn't. I'll be shocked if he wants to upset the balance right now. He's got no Garnachos in there. No one kind of trying to take the limelight. Everyone is working for the club. Everyone's working for the team. The Kunas, the Mbumos, the Amads. Everyone is getting on. So I feel like throwing in a grenade into the whole process is like getting Rashford and saying, right, come back, and boom, in you go. I think that could disrupt everything. He's not the player we remember when he broke through. Yeah, look, whatever your take is on Rashford, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Another wonderful show. Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to end on the transfer news of David Ornstein, but we have to, in summarising the show. And if you missed most of it, guys, it looks like this summer is going to be an uphill struggle to bring in anybody, given that INEOS don't want to spend big. David Ornstein this morning breaking the news that United are not willing to spend big in this summer transfer window, which means we can kiss goodbye to Wharton, we can kiss goodbye to Anderson, and even Baleba. I'm thinking even Baleba, but let's wait and see. Take it easy, take care, good night, and I will see you tomorrow.